Welcome back. Right now we have the distinct pleasure of welcoming Nikki DeLoach to our show. She is a star, actress, producer, has an impressive career, and has been in many Hallmark films. She's here today to tell us about two films that are releasing on Hallmark Channel in October. Nikki, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi.
It's great to see you, great to connect with you virtually. And before we get into talking about these upcoming films, I'd love to hear how you're doing and how your 2020 is going.
Oh, wow. That is such a really kind and thoughtful question. Thank you so much. By the way, I've driven through in the last 6 months, I think Utah twice on road trips. Your Utah's so gorgeous. Man, 2020, uncomfortable. Um, Nervous, scared. I have a 2-year old who was born with multiple heart defects, so he's very compromised. So we have really been super careful inside of all of this. My heart goes out to the over 200,000 people who have lost their lives and the families that they left behind. And really, I think that for me and my family, we are fortunate enough to, we have a nice place to live and we put food on the table, and that is a privilege. And so we are super, super blessed. So for me, I really don't feel like I have any place to complain when there's so many people out there that are struggling. And so that's where we are. We're healthy. We wake up and I say, hey, is everybody healthy? If everyone's healthy, then it's a good day. That's where we're at. How are you hanging in 2020?
I think we are doing as well as we can be. You're right, it's been such a tough year. But I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to learning more about you. You bring a vulnerability to your roles that I'm really excited to learn more about. But first, I'm curious, you grew up in a really small town in Georgia. You did everything from sports to theater, and then went to the Mickey Mouse Club. How did you make that transition?
Very easily, believe it or not. I knew I wanted to do this. This is going to sound so crazy, but from the time I was 3 years old, I knew that I wanted to perform. And the older I got, the more I knew I wanted to be a storyteller, and I wanted to sing, and I wanted to dance, and I wanted to act. And it just honestly lived inside of me. I didn't see people do it except for, the movies that I watched. My mother was an educator. My dad worked in timber and trucking. My grandmother was a nurse. The family business was farming and timber and trucking. So it's not that I was around it. I remember watching, Barbara Streisand on in Funny Girl and Sound of Music in these movies, and being and instantly connecting and feeling like that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I was ready to go when I got Mickey Mouse Club. My bags were packed; they were in the car. Um, but yeah, I am from this beautiful small town in South Georgia, and lucky enough to have come from a place like that to go to an industry. I'm so fortunate to get to have the yin and the yang of that, which you know uh it keeps me pretty grounded.
You've had an inspiring career and looking forward to seeing you in even more Hallmark movies this season. But as I mentioned, you really bring this authenticity, this vulnerability to your roles that make it really easy to relate to you, to cheer for you when you're starring in these different characters and these
Oh,
wonderful, uplifting films. So, how do you approach these different roles?
that's so nice. Thank you. Honestly, that's the greatest compliment ever. Because I actually believe that vulnerability is a superpower in life. So I think, the older I got, and the more I could settle into my own skin and my own body and realize that vulnerability is our superpower, and really it's the true vehicle through which we really can connect with humanity and with stories and what's happening out there. I think it changed my work. A lot of it was because of my son and stuff that I went through, postpartum depression, and then his heart surgeries. It breaks you open in a way in which you can't put yourself back in a container anymore. You can't wake up and be something that you're not anymore. So I do think that that actually really shaped my work. Um, in these last 7 years, 7 to 8 years. So thank you very much for saying that and seeing that. I really appreciate it.
And you have 2 upcoming films on Hallmark Channel. Tell me more about those.
I do. I was lucky enough to do 2 movies back to back up in Canada, which was so glorious to be up there. The first one that's coming out is the fall harvest movie called Sweet Autumn. I got to do it with my dear friend Andrew Walker, who, if you watch Hallmark movies, he's most likely one of your favorites. There he is. Look at that handsome dude. He's a great friend of mine. So being able to do this movie with him and be reunited, this is our 3rd movie together, was really cool. And that's coming out on October 17th. And my Christmas movie, Cranberry Christmas, is actually going to be on the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel, not the regular Hallmark, on October 31st. It's on Halloween, which I laughed at first. And then I was like, wait a second, I'm not trick-or-treating. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I will be home watching Cranberry Christmas and tweeting with everybody. And that movie was also really special. I got to play opposite with Ben Aris, who is such a great actor. And he and I play a married couple who are trying to who have separated for a bit of time and who are coming back together to figure out if they want to put the pieces of their marriage back together and what that looks like. And I think it's such a relatable story. There's so many people who have, I don't know of anybody who hasn't struggled inside their marriage at some point or not. And I just think it's a beautiful, I guess, blueprint for how to communicate and how to move through those moments, which can often be painful and sticky and uncomfortable, with a whole lot of love and a whole lot of grace and respect. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's Hallmark, so we know there's going to be a happy ending, but how they get there is really, really fun to watch. That one's really special.
Well, looking forward to seeing these 2 films. I know right now being able to watch these Hallmark films are uplifting, inspiring, really a nice escape during this time. And I don't have a lot of time left, but quickly, I'd love to hear a little more about your work with Alzheimer's Association.
Oh, thank you. It just makes my heart so happy that you asked about this, because this is the reason I do all of this. Is to be able to be in a place to be of service and to give back in the world. And the Walk to End Alzheimer's is coming up in Los Angeles. It's November 7th. But, there's a lot of things that really stink about 2020. We want COVID to go away forever. But one of the nuggets of positivity is the fact that you can walk from anywhere this year. So on November 7th, me and my girl Ashley Williams and her sister Kimberly Williams Paisley, we have a team. You can go to my Instagram at Nick, NIKDELOACH, Nick DeLoach. Go to the link in my bio, click on our page, and you can join us to walk to end Alzheimer's. The Alzheimer's Association is incredible. I've been working with them for years now. Not only are they pouring every dime that they get into finding a cure, they have also spent years now looking at preventative measures, and they're doing some remarkable things, and they're one of the best organizations I've ever had the opportunity to work with. This is affecting millions and millions of people and thousands upon thousands more every single year, and it's happening to people at an earlier age. My dad got Pick's disease, a rare and aggressive form of dementia, when he was in his 50s. He is now 65 and doesn't know his family, and is really suffering. So, this is a cause that's near and dear to my heart, as it is with millions of people out there who are dealing with this. So walk with me and Ashley and Kimberly on November 7th to find a cure for Alzheimer's and dementia.
Well, Nikki DeLoach, it's been an absolute pleasure connecting with you virtually. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on Park City Television. If you want to hear more about her upcoming movies, head to hallmarkchannel.com, and you can follow her on social media to learn more about her work with Alzheimer's Association, and more. We'll be back with Park City Mobile Veterinarian right after this.